everybody, it's Jeff. Welcome to another episode of Stay Rad Wine Blog TV, and it's another special episode because I'm here with my old buddy Nick. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Nervous, dude. Nervous. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Don't be. It'll be okay. So Nick and I have known each other for a long time since high school, and I'm down at his place in Capitola by the Sea, California, and just thought we'd drink a little wine.
I'm down.
And so earlier today, before I came down, I asked you what kind of wine you were into. And do you remember what you said?
I said I don't care. But then I said Sauvignon Blanc.
He said Sauvignon Blanc. And so this was before I swung by the store. And when I think of Sauvignon Blanc, we could do a little word association with you guys. You can write down below. When I say Sauvignon Blanc, what do you think? When I think... No, that's part of my charm, man.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Part of my charm.
My bad. Sorry.
You're lucky I know you real well.
I'm sorry,
Getting that little sandwich there.
Against the rules.
So, when I think of Sauvignon Blanc, I think of New Zealand, and so I think it'd be kind of fun if we got two different wines from New Zealand, from the same vintage, from the same area. They're both from the Marlborough region, and I got one Sauvignon Blanc from Matua Valley, 2010, and then I also got a Pinot Noir from New Zealand, the 2010 Triple Bank Pinot Noir, just because I've been reading a lot about Pinot Noirs in New Zealand. You saw me try one, I think from like 2008, the Matua Pinot Noir, and I was really into that, but they're saying 2010 is the vintage to be exploring these things. So I'm excited about this. Let's jump into the Matua Valley Sauvignon Blanc. Take a look.
Shall we do that too?
Yeah.
I've always admired your swirl capabilities. Yours much
minutes
higher.
And minutes of practice, Nick.
That's one thing I enjoy watching on your blog.
So I mean, color-wise, when I look at this, I mean, of course it's yellowish, but I mean, doesn't it almost seem like there's a greenish tint to it? Like as the light's going through?
Yeah.
And it's definitely, almost like a green and maybe a little like gold in color.
Amberish to me.
But it's definitely, I mean, you can see right through this thing. I can see your cats on the other side of the room right now. But looks really nice. And let's stick our noses in this. What are you smelling? Because there's one thing, like when New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, there's one scent that it gets called a couple different things when you smell it. I mean, what are you smelling there?
I definitely smell grape. I'm sorry, man.
I told him that. At least you
didn't expect very little from me.
At least you didn't say wine. I hate that one. What does it smell like?
Why don't you tell me what it smells like? I'll tell you if I can smell it.
Okay, I mean, I am getting some sense of like citrus zest, like lemon lime.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's kind of bitey. It's got kind of a bite to it.
There's a little, do you get like a sense of minerality, like some, like wet rocks? A little bit? Like if you reached into your fish tank.
Perhaps. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm getting a little bit of that. There's definitely some minerality, and then there's this one scent that you kind of have to key in on it, but I think it describes a lot of Sauvignon Blancs in general, and especially New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. Do you smell grass?
Yeah, I smell a little grass. Okay, I think I got it. A little.
So
actually, the smell of cut grass is like one of my favorite smells.
Yeah,
and me being a kid.
So there's definitely a little bit of that. It's not overpowering. I mean, there's some where it's definite. You smell it and that's all you smell.
Right.
But it's definitely there, like along with these really good citrus notes. Sometimes when some people smell the grass, they say it kind of smells like cat pee.
No, I don't smell cat pee.
No.
I mean,
This is definitely more grassy than cat pee.
A lot of people compare a lot of things, like there's this peach, if you have peach gum has sometimes, if you think really hard when you're chewing it, it can be compared to cat pee.
No way.
You're looking at me like I'm kind of an idiot, but it's true, folks.
I don't
Try
think
it.
I've ever-
Peach gum.
I don't think I've ever had peach gum before.
All right. Well, you know, I'm kind of a fruity gum connoisseur.
Okay.
So.
Speaking of fruit, let's get into this grape juice here.
All right. Try it.
So yeah, get right into it. Swish it around. More than anything else, I mean, again, these like lemon, lime, citrus notes.
Yeah.
Not just the juice, but again, like there's some zest on there. Like it's almost a little bit floral, right? Like it's kind of like citrus and flowers.
I feel like there's like a lime kind of, like the aftertaste you get after you kind of like chew on a lime.
Yeah.
You get a little citrus.
Like, I mean, I know this sounds really weird, but I mean, this, don't you think this would go well with like just a little bit of tequila in there, a little salt around
I can
there?
see it. You know,
Like-
I feel like Sauvignon Blanc is like just a really good hot summer day wine because it's really like, I always think of it as being kind of light,
Yeah.
a little more rolled off. Is that? I mean, I know nothing about wine.
No,
other
I'll
than
go
I
with
like to
that.
Drink it.
I mean, what you're saying is it's not
Compared
it's,
to Chardonnay, when I drink Chardonnay,
it's not
it's kind of like
it's not heavy. It's not as
Yeah.
weighty,
Right.
So I mean, it's definitely not as viscous. You know, it is more the consistency of, you know, a slightly thicker than water, but not like just heavy cream.
Right, and
staying in
it
your
doesn't
mouth.
have that. I also like Rieslings as
Yeah.
far as white wines, but those are really sweet. You know, I would almost like
You know what?
borderline dessert wine, maybe.
I kind of want to get you into some others. Like, if you tried some Rieslings from certain areas of the world, like the Alsace region of France, I mean, they're typically really dry. And it's kind of weird because it's like the flavor of Riesling to me is almost unmistakable.
So
like
explain to us novice wine drinkers.
Yeah.
What do you really mean when you say dry? I've always kind of wondered.
Okay, so dry means not sweet.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And I mean, there are some wines where, and I guess the reason why you said, when you get like the sweetness, there's almost your salivary glands start kicking, right? When
Okay,
you've got a bunch
yeah.
of sugar in your mouth, you've
Right.
got enzymes that are in there starting to break it down. You produce more saliva,
Okay.
right? So if there's not a whole lot of sugar in there, and some wines, in the absence of sugar and having a whole lot of tannins, right, it'll really just dry out your mouth, right?
Okay.
So when we say
Okay.
that
Okay.
a wine is dry, we're saying
Okay.
it's not sweet. And so like, and definitely it's not like you would, this is a dry wine right here, but it's not like all of a sudden you're parched, you know, it's
Got it.
it's just not sweet, right? But there's like, I want to tip you off to some Rieslings that when they do take away the sweetness, I mean, it's a whole nother beast, a whole nother animal.
I see.
There's some really good ones out there, and like that's the thing. I don't drink a lot of California Rieslings just because they are so sweet and they are so dessert-like.
One of the barometers that I use to measure whether I think wine is good or bad
Mm-hmm.
is if I can drink a half bottle of it or so and not get a headache. I find myself being prone to being a headache getting wine as a symptom of drinking wine, especially crappy wine. So I had made a kind of an unofficial sort of pact with myself earlier in the year that I wasn't ever going to buy a bottle of wine that was less than $8 because the juice is not worth the squeeze.
I can
No
see
pun
that.
intended.
I can see that. Man, headaches and wine are like a whole nother ballgame. People will debate these things forever.
Really?
Some people blame the sulfites,
Huh.
right? Which is kind of bogus.
I just, I feel like things in general that are too sweet, I run the risk. Maybe that's just me.
I can see that.
But
and
I like a Sauvignon Blanc compared to a Chardonnay because Sauvignon Blanc tastes sweeter to me.
Yes.
Go figure.
I feel you.
I don't know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. I know very little about wine, but
But
other
you
than
know,
I like to drink it.
You know what's the most important thing, Nick? The most important thing that you know about that you should. I'm flustered. That's okay. I know this is a really flashy video. We still don't edit. This is all going to be in there.
Slide,
The
folks.
thing that's most important when you say I don't know anything about wine, you know the most important thing, and you know what that is?
What's that?
You know what you like.
Hey, there you go. All right.
That's all that matters.
fair
right?
enough. Fair enough.
So let's get back to this one.
Okay.
So we've identified that this is a dry wine. We've identified that it's got these citrus components, likening it to, again, after you're tasting a lime, and then we went off on that tequila thing. It's weird. I do feel like this would be a good, sangria builder.
I would
right
agree.
here.
I would definitely agree.
Along with that citrus, again, there is that minerality. There is some stone in there, like you just licked a rock. Like I'm getting a little bit of that, not like overpowering, but that's definitely there. It's crisp, it's fresh, it's got this great acidity. I envision this, I keep going back to these like Mexican themes now. I envision this with like a ceviche. You ever have ceviche?
I don't eat seafood.
See, that's the
Unfortunately, I
problem.
don't. I wish I did.
See,
but,
that's the problem. Like, I see this with
but I could definitely see some cilantro heavy dish.
get some cilantro in there, get some raw white fish, get like some good lime in there, avocados, tomatoes, just kind of mix them together, and this would go great with it. It'd be perfect.
I feel like as far as wine goes and thirst quenching,
Yeah.
it's very much hitting the spot. In
So-
fact, it's like I almost want more. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can we do that on this?
We're gonna go back.
Okay.
You want more, right? I'm gonna give you.
I just want a little. It's a hot day here,
as-
folks. Capitola, my house specifically, it gets very hot this time of day.
And I definitely want to see, I always give these scores, and you don't have to give this a number, but I also want you to be as honest as possible. If you feel like you would never drink this again, let me know. I want to know your take on it. I mean, is this a type of this Sauvignon Blanc in particular? Is it something that you're into?
This is so. Yeah, I mean, I drank that. I drank that pretty hastily. Asked for more, so yes, I like it. I like it. As far as a score compared to what? Well, see, here's what I've always wondered: is like,
Yeah.
does price matter? Can you get? Is it like I have to give it a score before I know what price it is, or do I get to find out what price it is, then give it a score, kind of taking that as sort of a factor?
I mean, I could reveal the price to you. I almost think that, when you read like magazines and stuff, a lot of times when they give scores, they're doing blind tastings. They don't even know, they know very little. Sometimes they'll know the varietal, like what grape is being used. Sometimes they'll know where it's from. But other than that, they don't want to look at the price or the producer or anything like that, because that could really throw you off. Like if I spent $150 on a bottle of Dom Perignon and brought that to you, and I said, here's this Dom P, and poured you this big glass, and then asked you, what do you think of it now? Where would you rank it?
I'd have a different.
You may amp it up just because there's this aura of we were watching music videos growing up with people spraying that all over each other. There's an aura of that. I would have the aura of wow, I just
perceived value thing.
I just spent $150 on it, so I better like it.
Yeah.
That does kind of play
that's
into
totally
it.
true. That's very true.
And in a way, I almost feel like I'm handicapped because I do know how much I paid for
Well,
it.
it's easier for me to. It's probably easier
Price-
for me to say what I think it's worth.
That's what
as
I want to
opposed
hear.
to an actual score because, so it starts at 50, right, in wine scoring.
Yeah.
I'm luckily part of this video, but mostly I usually watch this in the morning while I'm admittedly on the toilet. Because I'm looking for things to do while I'm on the toilet, and his blog is always on Facebook. I'm always looking on Facebook, so admittedly, it's.
By the way, you
I'm
guys
with
should,
you,
at this point, if you haven't liked Stay Rad Wine Blog on Facebook, you should definitely do that. There's a link.
Yeah, it's
right.
entertaining. It's good. It's good about there's food too. There's
Is
food.
the link this way? The link's this way, I think. We'll see after we put this on the computer. But feel free to like it. Okay, that would be a fun game. How much do you think that one cost?
I would put that. I would say that's a solid above 10, and below 20. Am I right?
It's a very nice range.
I'm gonna say. Do you want an exact number?
Sure.
I would say. I usually shop at Nob Hill since it's the closest one to me, and I would say there, with that quality, I would expect that to be somewhere in the range of about $13.
So check it out. At Bevmo, it was $12.99.
There we go.
Good job, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And I would say score wise, I mean, I'm putting this in like it's a solid, right? And when wines are solid, when they're doing what I expect them to do, they're not necessarily blowing me away, but there's nothing wrong with it. And this is a great wine on a hot day. Very well put. This is a solid 88 pointer for me. It's weird because if you look at like wine ratings in magazines, they say that anything above 80 is recommended. But if I called this an 80 or an 81,
I would think you hated it.
Yeah,
I would.
yeah.
Yeah, because you usually. I'm trying to think of the lowest score I've ever seen you.
I've probably thrown out like a 68, maybe, on a wine before.
I think you rated that Coppola that I brought that one time. At
That
like
one I gave
89 plus.
I gave that an 89 plus.
Yeah.
That seems right. But I mean, this is definitely a solid Sauvignon Blanc. It speaks to the grape. It speaks to the region. It's.
I feel like I could drink that whole bottle and have a good, nice, comfy wine buzz, not like a sloppy. You know what I mean? Like. We could drink a fair amount of that and then still have energy to go. It's light. It's light. I like it. I like the light. I like the light in wine. I like light wines.
We could
I
definitely.
like Pinots. I like.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an experiment we could definitely do later, and I'll videotape you. This is 13.5% alcohol, so it's actually, I mean, on the higher end, slightly a higher end of alcohol. But I think the thing that's nice about your perception of how you'd be able to do with it is that even though the alcohol is there, we haven't talked about it at all because it really does balance out well.
It doesn't. The smell was when you first poured it. The smell had a little bit of a bite to it. I thought, but the taste was just very round and mellow and nice.
Yeah. I was thinking what we would do is when I pour this Pinot Noir, I was thinking maybe we'd swirl it around, dump it into this thing like they do on some wine shows because we don't want the Sauvignon Blanc to taint this, but it'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
We can swirl it if you want. I mean, I admittedly had I swished my mouth out with Listerine before we started this because I didn't want.
Oh my goodness!
Blast you out
So
with that
everything
breath,
tastes
so-
like menthol.
No. I mean, we ended up getting a couple phone calls before we started. So.
Just because we can. It's
Yeah,
gotta
why not?
clean that out. So swirl it out, dump it, just to make sure there's no Sauvignon
I mean, it's
Blanc
like
left
as
over.
a musician, it's a bummer when you put a bunch of work into recording a song and then somebody listens to it on the laptop, which happens 9 times out of 10. But you know what I mean? You can't hear the bass, and you're like, at least swirl the glass.
Hey, so you say, talk to me about your musical background. Well, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about this wine, just to introduce it, and then we'll talk a little bit about music, because I think that would be a fun conversation to have.
All right.
So this is the Triple Bank Awatere Valley? How would you say that? What language do they speak in New Zealand?
I would call it the Awatere.
Awatere Valley.
Sounds like it rolls off the tongue a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good. So this is the Triple Bank Awatere Valley Marlborough Pinot Noir 2010 from New Zealand. Oddly enough, I was trying to look for some information on this wine on the internet before we got into it, and the only thing I could find was a link to one of my pages. Apparently I've tried this before, but it was really just a quick taste. I had tasted this at like a Saturday wine tasting at Bevmo once, and all I did was take a picture and throw it on there, and I said that it tasted like the fruit was really ripe, and then I went on to the next one. But I'm excited about 2010 New Zealand Pinot Noirs, because they're bringing a whole lot of value, and they're bringing a whole lot of quality, they're bringing a whole lot of big fruit, so they say, and for I'm not going to tell you the price, but for a reasonable price.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to this. I want to talk about music for a second, though.
All right, if you hear that table saw, if there's a table saw sound, I'm sorry, my neighbor, he's building a surf rack, apparently.
A surf rack?
Out of Burlwood or something. He's kind of a...
Out of Burl?
He's kind of, I would say, and hopefully he doesn't hear this, but in between a hoarder and a pack rat. Somewhere in the middle there.
Is he the guy that collects abalone shells?
No, that's this neighbor.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm sorry, the table saw.
Tell me about music. I want to hear about it.
What about
We'll
it?
sip on this and then we'll talk about it.
What about it? What about it? We played. You were my. You were one of my first musical companion. My very first musical companion is now quasi famous, right? First guy.
You know what?
First guy I ever started
They
playing.
just broke up this month.
That happens.
Yeah.
If you. Yeah. Well, shoot.
Yeah. Kind of weird. We're alluding. Well, you guys don't care about friends of friends.
Friends of friends, but anyways, the first guy who first guy who I ever started playing music with, apparently had a pretty successful. I went to music school with him, and he apparently had a pretty successful band. Come to find out, we saw him on Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yeah. He's talking about the band Girls from San Francisco. Our friend JR. Yeah, but he's still recording. I was just texting him yesterday.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
And then Jeff, I would say, was my second or third. We had a band in high school, the Willies.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Someday we might do a reunion. I would like that.
I don't think it's ever gonna
It
happen.
was good, loud punk rock. We weren't very good. You don't have to be punk rock.
But whereas like a lot of, we knew a lot of, just in Santa Cruz, like growing up, we knew a lot of people that were into music and
Yeah, I think in this town it's very, very prevalent. Music is like, music and surfing and skating are all kind of,
But then, like,
intertwined.
people start falling off and not doing the music thing so much anymore. JR kept going and did all right for himself. And you're still doing music. What are you doing now?
I own a kind of like an entertainment, kind of like a production company. So we do a lot of weddings and like corporate events. I'm just basically just a sellout.
But that's okay. From punk rock
either
to
sell
corporate
out,
events.
yeah, either sell out by going, on a major label, or you can sell out by, doing weddings and that stuff. So yeah, bona fide wedding singer, I'd say. But it's fun, it's like, I did, my throughout my 20s, I cut my teeth in the bars and clubs and stuff like that, and, in my 30s, it's like the music is a little too loud, and, being out till 2 in the morning, and drunks on the road and all that. So the weddings are kind of nice because it's, for all the like the wedding singer isms and all that. I mean, it's like people having it's a very special day for them. It's people having a really good time. So it's fun parties. So that's what I do now. The company's called Santa Cruz Live Music and DJ.
And you should definitely hit them up.
SantaCruzLiveMusic.com.
We're gonna put the link down below, or maybe embed it in the video.
Oh, nice. I like.
I don't know.
I like.
We'll figure it out.
I appreciate you bringing my. That's very. This guy is quality right here. Quality human being.
Nick's a pretty good dude too. Aside,
I was thinking about this episode, and I was thinking about it'd be kind of funny to prank call, because we used to prank call all the time when we were in high school, but we couldn't do that now. Now just totally getting ringed because
it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that was before caller ID. Was when Star 69 was the new technology. And then you had to pay for it. Not too many people had it, but remember that?
Yeah, no, that was
we
crazy.
used to do that all the time. We were just such little shitheads. Sorry.
That's okay.
Bad. Language.
You didn't say what you thought.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
Wine. Let's get back.
Sure, yeah. So here's this Pinot Noir right here. I mean, color-wise, what's up?
I was saying, but enough about me. I'm using.
So
Wine.
color-wise, when we look at Pinot Noirs, it's a weird concept, right? Because noir means dark, right?
Okay.
Or black. And Pinot Noir means dark pine, right? And so whenever you see Pinot in different grape names, it's just the species that it's coming from. And it's darker than all other Pinots, darker than a Pinot Blanc or darker than a Pinot Grigio or something like that. But these wines are actually really light, right? You were talking about how how you like Pinot Noir because it is very light. It's not overpowering as far as a red wine goes. And when I look at the color, the first thing I always do with a Pinot Noir is I hold my hand underneath and I look at my fingers through the wine. Do it!
I was going to say, do
Right.
you want me to do that too?
You definitely do it
I can
because
see it.
mean,
I can
and
definitely
you
see
can make them out very clearly, right?
Right.
So I mean, this is a very light wine. I mean, it's a nice color too. It's almost like a blood.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's kind of
Um,
almost like a really like deep purple, almost looks black first
Yeah.
look.
I mean,
But
definitely.
it's clear when you look at it from the top down, it's very maroon.
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely
red
see,
wine.
definitely definitely seeing right through this thing. As far as the nose, stick your nose in there. It's nice, right?
It's very mellow. It doesn't burn your nose at all.
Yeah, you're not getting a whole lot of alcohol on the nose. What I am getting though is I am getting a whole lot of spice, right? I'm getting
Yeah, I hear ya.
like a smoky kind of beef jerky type of component
Maybe like
on there.
like a clove, like a whole clove kind of smell, maybe a little bit.
I can see that. I mean, almost it's like if you took a clove cigarette
Ground it
and
up.
no.
Oh no.
What I would do is
you ever
actually
done that, man? Eating a clove
yeah,
cigarette? It's so
no,
good.
it's really cool. But if you took one of those and you just like drug it across your nose,
Right, yeah,
with
yeah. Right.
the with the wrapper and everything,
not unsmoked.
yeah, it does give off that scent.
I agree.
But and there's a little mintiness to it. I mean, it's herbaceous,
That's a good word.
yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
herby,
Herby. Okay.
Yeah.
Herbaceous.
herbaceous. But yeah, I mean, so it smells really
Yeah,
nice.
it does.
And I'm looking forward to how it tastes. I mean, my last tasting note was it's ripe.
Can we give it a shot?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, wow, it's kind of a fun one, right? For a young Pinot Noir, and I guess, the younger it is, the more you will notice it, the tannins on Pinot Noirs usually drop out pretty quick,
Okay.
right? So when I say tannins, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you kind of feel it like on your cheeks and on the roof of your mouth and like maybe near the back of your
Okay.
tongue. It's kind of like, some would kind of refer to it as like a bite or like just a drying quality of the wine, like as it's in there, kind of like kind of absorbs, right?
Okay.
The tannins on there, and that's what kind of gives wine a lot of its structure. Like the more tannins that you get in like a Cabernet Sauvignon, the tannins are what help it age for a
Okay.
really long time. I mean, a Pinot Noir, a really good one, you could lay down for a while, for 10, 15 years or so, but that's rare. Usually with Pinot Noirs, there's like a 5-year window that you maybe want to drink it in.
I feel like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, so the tannic structure is definitely there. It's definitely one that the tannins are going to stick around for a while. So as far as ageability, I can see this you know, having the structure to lay down for another 4 or 5 years, at least, and maybe even longer than that. So I mean, as far as a Pinot Noir goes, it definitely has a little bit more of a body, a little bit more structure, a little bit more ageability than what I'm used to when I drink Pinot Noirs.
Whoa, look.
Yeah, what's up?
Dried herb, clove, and cinnamon aromas, and an earthy palate.
Look at this guy.
We didn't even read it, right? We didn't even. I mean, come on now. That was not cheating, folks. That was all. All right, feeling good about that.
You know how you have a rule about
feeling good about that.
you know how you have a rule about like you will buy a wine for less than $8. The next rule, don't even ever read the back. Like if they, read the back, but if they start to, like if you're in the store and they start to, on that label, describe what you're going to taste,
Don't do it.
stop reading it or don't buy it. Just because like I think it's a lot more fun to kind of pick them up on your own. And it's neat when you kind of pick out a flavor and then you realize like somebody else already said that, right? But,
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff is all definitely there.
I generally, admittedly, pick wine based on the label's coolness.
Well, that's part of
I
it
think
too.
that's got to be a lot of it.
I mean, and honestly, I mean, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
like,
I
how
like
it's
that.
like those
Yeah,
three stripes and everything.
Exactly.
And that's part of it. I mean, think of how many tens of thousands of dollars they put just into research of how we want our label to look.
Yeah, well, and I think that's money well spent because I don't think I'm unique in picking wine based off of a large part of it being the label.
I don't think you're even unique
The one album I did do, I named it after a bottle of wine, which was called La Buena Vida.
No
Which
way.
means the good life, and it was actually good wine. It was good wine. So I was that.
Who made it?
inspired.
Where'd you get that?
I don't even.
I kind of want to know about that because I've heard the album,
in 2006, so I don't even.
but
That was
wow.
a long time ago. But with this one, what you're talking about it having like a, I mean, it doesn't taste that robust to me. Like it definitely tastes like it stays at the front of my mouth as opposed to, you know, sometimes when I'll eat like a brownie or I'll have something sweet,
yeah,
like I'll get almost like a, you know how you get if you drink a Slurpee, you'll get a brain freeze.
yeah,
I'll almost feel like the equivalent of that in my mouth. Like I'll get this sort of like
Yeah.
this shooting kind of sensation in my mouth, and sometimes I get that from wines that I guess I would describe them as being really bitey. But this I don't get.
Yeah.
I get a really, and it brings back to what I like. I like a really mellow,
yeah.
light.
And this is it's weird because and here's where my mind's kind of going. I was talking so much about the tannins at the beginning because what's weird to me is that the tannins are very much present, like on the side of the mouth, but it's not a heavy wine. It's not even a medium-bodied wine. It's a very light in body. It's not very.
Some on my cheeks.
It's not very viscous, right? But it's weird that we have that structure, but there's not much of that body that goes along with it. There's definitely those herby type of notes that we were sensing on the nose. Those are definitely present throughout. Fruit-wise, I'm getting some cranberry. I'm getting some cherry cola was one of the first things I was thinking about when I first tasted this. And I think just that cola type of note in general is sticking around. This is some good juice. It really is.
This one is not. This one's not as good to me as the. And maybe it's because we're drinking red wine on a hot day, but it's not. It's not. If I was going to go after either one, if I was A being the two, just which one I would rather drink,
Yeah.
I would probably go for the white.
Yeah, and I do have to say, I am much more of a Pinot Noir guy than I am a Sauvignon Blanc guy, but I think that this Matua Valley Sauvignon Blanc is a whole lot more whole lot more better. No, that doesn't
Well, we were
work.
talking about.
It is definitely better. The heat could be a part of it, but I think more so than that, I think it's a lot more fun. I think that it's a lot more complex, and this is a good wine right here. Rating wise, I'm putting it at like an 86, which isn't bad, and I'll tell you how much I paid for it later if you want to, or if you want to guess.
I would put that. You know, my kind of like benchmark for less expensive Pinot Noirs is Naked Grape. Have you had that?
I've seen it.
Okay, I have the. I drink a lot. Oftentimes, if I'm going for a budget Pinot Noir, I'll go for the Naked Grape.
Yeah.
In the white, the Pinot. It's Grigio, right? If it's white, is that right?
Yeah, Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, depending on like where you're at.
Okay,
in the
got
world.
it. But with this one, I would. I'm gonna guess that it's more. It was more money than I think I'm gonna guess it's what I would pay for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I would probably pay $7 for that.
And I think that you could definitely find. You run out of batteries. What's going on?
No.
You could definitely find a lot more. Some wines at $7 that are better than this. This was actually, and this is where we get kind of weird. If you try to look up Triple Bank, you'll find one of my posts from a while ago. You're not going to find a website for this winery. They're owned by a big corporation in New Zealand that owns a whole lot of wineries there, and so they don't. It's kind of like. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a wine that is packaged to look and to sell for a lot better than what it really is. This wine, I think Bevmo says that the regular price is like $24. Yeah. But I don't think they would ever sell it for that much, ever. I think this was on sale for $14 or $15, but I mean, this is not one that I would ever pay that much money for again. There are some really tasty New Zealand Pinot Noirs that are out there that are cheaper than this.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm not trying to. It's good. It's not bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, but that's where we get into it. It's like for an 86 point wine, which is something that I would drink again. That I'm gonna go back into it after we finish this episode. That's the good part. I mean, the quality of the juice is there, but you can find things at an equal quality for way less. You can find things that are better than this. For way less, and that's where you get into this idea that price has an impact in the sense that you would expect the more money you're paying for something, the more consistent it's gonna be in the quality that they bring. But for some of these labels, maybe they're consistently like middling. They're consistently B students, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of A students.
Yeah,
out there,
right.
And
It's kind of like if we had tried this, if we were only trying this, maybe we would talk different about it, but it's kind of maybe, in my opinion, one of the ones where the opening act kind of took down the headliner.
it's kind of like when the Willies opened up for Naked Aggression.
In that
Blew them away.
Yeah, fair. Oh yeah. Totally blew him off the stage.
Yeah, man. We were pretty good for 16-year-olds.
I thought so. We got some good gigs too. We got yeah, it's true. But it's good. It's not bad. I would definitely. I mean, I don't. It's very. It's what I like about a Pinot.
Yeah.
It's light, and it's not overpowering. I don't really like overpowering wines. So it's that. I mean, it's definitely it's good. I think it'd be a nighttime wine. You know, hot night kind of wine, where you're not looking for something to knock your socks off. Okay, I guess we're moving to that one. Or that one.
I think that's the end of the show.
All right, folks.
Nick, thanks for hosting this and recording this and just being an awesome dude.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Everybody, stay rad.